Jimmy McAleod found the net. Goal for Wednesday.
Terrific goal by Taylor.
Chris Waddle, is he going to have a crack?
Oh, he does, and he scores. Still Glenn Wheeler. Aidan Flint wins the
Is there time for a winner?
Hello and welcome to the Wednesday Tie-Dye podcast. This is Extra Time. We're going to be talking about a few things this evening, a few things that were revealed earlier this week and put in the public domain by the Sheffield Wednesday Supporters Trust. We've got the loan on the stadium that is due at the end of the month. I think quite a lot of people knew about that anyway, but we'll talk about that. We've also got the multitude of different businesses that they've been able to unearth, which bear Chansiri's name. Matt, firstly, the work from the Trust has been relentless, hasn't it? You know, to say that they're just volunteers, it's been kind of non-stop for months now, and they're starting to, could you say, bear some fruit? Things are starting to come out now, and their kind of hard work they've been putting in is, you know, there for everyone to see in it now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they've got a number of releases that they're hoping to get out this month. One of which I can't say what the document is because obviously I don't want anybody getting in any really serious trouble. One of which I rang you after having read it on Tuesday, Wednesday, was it?
Yeah.
Tuesday, Wednesday, and I nearly fallen off my fucking chair because it's that like explosive. But yeah, it's again, I think It's been really interesting, obviously, because I would class myself. I'm in a slightly privileged position in terms of, you know, a couple of people from the trust I do speak to fairly regularly about it, and it is just incredible the level of work that this group of people are going to try and remove the individual from the football club for the benefit of everybody who's there, and actually, you won't get people who will come out and say, "Oh, I don't like that," but they'll come out and go, "Oh, that protest was shit, like that were this or whatever," and you think, well, just fucking do it. Nicest will in the world, fucking do it yourself, because these lads genuinely are, these lads and lasses are working so hard to try and expose this individual for exactly what he is, which is a crook. And
if I'm being brutally honest as well, sorry, Matt, I think that is if you had to list, knowing what we know about Depan Chansiri, if you had to list things in order of like what's going to get him out of the football club, I think clearly him finding him being a dodgy bastard is probably number one. When you put kind of protests in there, I think that falls down the pecking order. But number one is if they can find some dirt like Dai Young, and that is our right now. I think that's our best hope of getting him out as quickly as possible at the moment.
Yeah, and that's this sounds horrible, doesn't it, James? It's the legwork that nobody wants to do. Like me and you can comfortably sit on this podcast and spout off all this shit of, oh, he's got to have been borrowing money from somewhere. Where is his money coming from? Where is it? And how many times did we say that last year? Me and you sat here last year going, where's his money come from? Nobody knows. Well, these boys have found it. So and that only comes from doing very, very deep investigative like work and freedom of information requests and all the rest of it. It's not like, again, don't want to do myself a disservice, James, because I did come straight back off holiday and record it at 9:30. The Amadou Paxao pod and the information that I put together was sat on a sun lounger in an afternoon. Really easy to find on Google. Like, really easy. You've just got to piece it together and build a story and a narrative. This shit is like... It was the one group, James, that there was a couple of people who were, you know, really heavily connected. I suppose you would describe them as the nuts and bolts of like the investigative journalism. And they were flicking through documents in like Thai. And there was like a 70-odd page document in Thai. And you were thinking, are you going to put this through Google Translate and hope for the best?
And as well, if you've seen any Thai writing, it is just a lot of squiggles in it, basically. Like,
my word, yeah. It's so difficult. And like even I think with the freedom
To
of
be fair, I'm
information-
gonna go on Duolingo now. I'm gonna do Thailand and for a few weeks. See if I can get myself.
Just start
fluent.
your streak. How do I say he's a prick?
Yeah, because skip straight to lesson number 57, swear words.
Yeah.
They're the ones that I want to know.
But it's, yeah, sorry, James. It's just, because I mean, this stuff that they've brought out, obviously surrounding his business empire, they did talk about it at the, I think it was the first Wadsley Bridge meeting,
Yes.
which I think we obviously as a platform streamed. I say you went down and streamed. And there was the PowerPoint from James in there where he talked about the fact that the supporters' money outstrips Chansiri's. And at that point, I mean, we know now from where these documents were, they have had this information and they are sat on it. But the other thing is, I think, from reading these documents, it's very clear. It's not like I don't want to do our podcast a disservice here, James. It's not like me and you, where it's like me and you have a conversation and go, "Do you reckon we should go out with that?" Yeah, fuck it, go on then, let's have a go. Whereas these are like, no shit, we've got a lot of people to try and think about here.
Yeah, I want to say as well is this: they've had a lot of documents that are having to go through the legal process as well, because I think they are kind of shit scared about kind of something happening, and I get that because Depon Chansiri is a loose cannon. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
He could think, he's going to do that. Probably the answer with Depon Chansiri is probably yes. And especially when he feels threatened and stuff, and we don't know what he can do or what avenue he's going to go down. So I feel like the trust are just having to be watertight, which is perhaps why some things, like maybe this document has been sat on a while, they've had to verify things and make sure it is watertight, so that so they can't come at him. So I do, there's a lot of conversations. I know they said they were going to be out kind of that day, and then it was 10 o'clock. It was like almost like a Chansiri-esque press release, like 10 o'clock at night. When I got told it wasn't going to be today, it's going to be the next day. Yeah, it's all kind of a bit chaotic, and we've got to remember as well that these people again have got day jobs. They've got 9 to 5s that they're doing, and then they're having to do all this on top as well. So they're trying to manage it. I'm just going to read. I'm going to read all of them out, actually, and it could take me a long time. I'm going to read all of his businesses that have been unearthed. These are his Thai companies that list Depon Chansiri as a director: Gemini and Associate Company Limited, Gemini Asset Company Limited, Gemini Watercrafts Company Limited, D Chansiri A Co Limited.
Sorry, what the fuck is a watercraft?
A boat,
is it like a hovercraft boat, or is it like craft that you make at a table and then stick in the water?
I'll tell you, Gemini Watercrafts Company Limited is primarily engaged in furnishing shipping information and acting as agents in arranging transportation for freight and cargo. Also included in this industry are freight forwarders, which undertake the transportation of goods from the shippers to receivers for a charge covering the entire transportation, and in turn make use of the services of other transportation establishments as instrumentalities in effecting delivery. And breathe. That's what it does.
Again, James, to borrow my favourite layer cake quote here, the art of good business is being a good middleman. The problem is, fucking this idiot is in charge of it, so it's a shit business.
I mean, this is a great one. D Chansiri A Company Limited is business type painting, photography, and prints. So,
Can you please have a look at the fucking Presto then on the top of the north? Sorry, the top of the left. The fucking printing.
Yeah, it says he's engaged in the business of painting, photography, and prints, which is in the group of wholesale of other products not classified elsewhere. In business for 11 years, it was established on January the 4th, 2013, with an issued registered capital of 1 million baht under the name of D Chansiri A Company Limited, and previously changed its name to Nova Contemporary Company Limited. It has now changed its name to D Chansiri A Company Limited on March 10th. It's just a web of just like bullshit.
Well, that's
really.
I tell you what that is. That's a web of how can I dodge a tax, man. That's what that is, because you're liquidating and changing names and all the rest of it, aren't you? So that's what that is.
We're only on number 4. Number 5, Chansiri Real Estate Company Limited, Thai Union Property Development Company Limited, Barnrai Blush Corn Company Limited. I've done that totally a disservice there. I've no idea.
That's the first one you've properly butchered. Bon Rye.
Bon Rye Busher Caron. Fuck knows.
What does that do?
It's ornamental plants and other nursery products such as bulbs, florist greens, flowers, shrubbery, flower and vegetable seeds and plants and sod. Note that Bussercorn is the wife of Chrysorn. All right, okay, that's where the name comes from.
Yeah.
It's just a surname. That's that one. That's number 7. Thai Union Eaglewood Development Company Limited, Penven Company Limited, Fluent.
Sorry,
yeah.
John Gurnhill here. Fluent that, James, and also just ordered a meal.
Yeah,
that was really spectacular. That really spectacular.
Look, give me 2 weeks. When I'm on this Duolingo, I will be. This will come in different languages. This will be in French, Spanish, and Thai.
How long's your streak? We're going to check in weekly.
I won't even be able to do the first one. Anyway, let's get back on track. Thai Union Eaglewood Developments, Penven Company Limited, D&T Joint Venture Company Limited, D&A Joint Venture Company Limited. This is the best one. This is the best one. I pulled it out when this got released. Thai Union High Tech Pearl Cultivation Company Limited. That is the best one. It's primarily engaged in the production of finfish and shellfish, such as crustaceans and mollusks, with a confined space and under controlled feeding, sanitation, and harvesting procedures. There you go. Pearls.
Cool.
Pearl necklace. That's got a lot
8 o'clock Pearl Harbour, 12 o'clock Pearl necklace. Hey, land ahoy. There's a Max and Paddy one for you there. I don't need a Phoenix Nights one. I'll give you a Max and Paddy one.
He's got DC Asset Limited Partnership, 1968 Development Company, KBTD Property Management Company Limited, KB Joint Venture Company Limited, DD Joint Venture Company. Some really lovely names for these businesses. Like really, a lot of time and effort gone into these. DC Accommodation Company Limited, DC Address Company Limited, and then Thai Union Property Company Limited. That's all of them there. I mean, a lot of construction ones in there that I've found.
And I wonder, James, because obviously the rhetoric coming out of Deshpande Chansiri's camp is that he lost a lot of money when the Asian property market collapsed, in particular the Thai property market collapsed. Forgive me if I'm wrong. Also, the information that the trust reported from that is that actually there wasn't that much money in them anyway, and they weren't making a huge profit beforehand on any of these businesses, really.
No, not at all. I mean, he's got a lot of assets. I say a lot. $332 million in assets across those, and that is wrapped up quite a lot in Thai Union Property Development Company, who's got £245 million worth of assets. However, that one company itself did sales over the course of the year. I think this is 2023, that amassed to $64,000 US, and that's sales. That's not profit. That is just a turnover. So to say you've got nearly $250,000 in assets, and you've only turned over $64,000 in a year, that is a theme throughout. Like, there are a lot of assets, but some of them like zero sales. Like nothing's happening. Like, it's just literally a dormant company. And where have we seen that before as well? By the way, yeah. It's just
a lot of money. I bet a lot of money flows through all of them.
Possibly, yeah. Although it's saying no sales.
64 grand is a timeshare, James, that effectively is sold. 64 grand is a 1-bed flat in wherever.
You were trying to think of somewhere in Thailand there off the top of your head, and you failed, didn't you? You couldn't find anyone.
Yes, you're absolutely right there, James.
Bangkok is the capital. As far as I can't go any further than that, unfortunately.
I'm really
Phuket.
struggling.
You could have gone for Phuket, couldn't you?
Phuket, yeah. That's where everyone who goes to backpacking and find themselves goes, isn't it?
Yeah.
I wonder if they do find themselves there. That's another day. I suppose the question that I would have for this is if the EFL, which they have been presented with this information by the trust, the conversation then, I suppose, becomes, are they not acting because the trust haven't, like in the situation where the Sell Before We Die group found? Is this not, you haven't presented us with the dirty laundry right in front of our lap? Because the EFL, to be fair to them, they are not investigators, if that makes sense. They deal with the information that's in front of them. They've not got a whole raft and a host of people who work in the background to go and look into all of these. That, I suppose, is what the independent regulator is for. And that is why there is now a government mandated thing in it. But I mean, just reading through all of those, yes, if those businesses were turning a profit, I would say, yep, that probably fits the business profile of somebody who's an incredibly successful businessman. Even if there was only 2 of those businesses that were making a huge profit, I understand the logic behind it, and I understand the logic of being involved in all of those businesses. From somebody who knows nothing about the inner workings of like a financial situation, that screams to me as 2 things. One is for tax break purposes and dodging tax. The other one is it screams as money's going into those companies and going out, but actually on a balance sheet, when you actually just look at it straight up, it's not turning a profit, any of them.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at it from let's take football out of it for a second. When I look at all those there, just from a logical perspective, how can someone have a business in making effectively boats, then also a business in, you know, a garden centre, and then next pearls, and then the only one that I can understand is kind of when you're looking at real estate and stuff like that. All right, everyone kind of has that in their portfolio. But you look at all those, and then just add on to that a football club as well. Like, how can you possibly be any good at any of these when it's just so thinly spread across the board? It just doesn't look believable, does it, at all, when you look at it?
I do understand your logic of where you're coming from. What I would suggest is that there are going to be incredibly wealthy people across the globe who are or are seen as successful businessmen, and they are not the actual brains of the operation. There are people who are employed and implemented and put in place at all of those to make it a profitable business. It's just your name on the door, if that makes sense. If, however, Sheffield Wednesday is anything to go off, we know that Deshpon Chansiri wants to be across all of his businesses. And actually, he won't have implemented people to act with the autonomy to make him and themselves very wealthy. He will be wanting to micromanage them if he wants to be involved in them at all. Because the argument here is the press that you originally got from buying Sheffield Wednesday and pumping a rough estimate, 30 million in terms of transfer fees, like upfront money. You spend 35 million, was it, to acquire us?
Yeah.
Give or take 30 million over two and a half, a season and a half, 18 months. And then your money dries up. You could have made a success of that if you had implemented people to run the football club correctly. Now, if you widen that to his extensive business portfolio that he does have there, if you employ, say for argument's sake, take the shipping company, whatever the shipping company was, take that, and if you implement somebody, or you go out and you hire somebody from, I don't know, insert most successful shipping company here, and you put them at the top of it, and you go, your sole responsibility is to make this a profit-making business and turn this successful, that person will do it because they know how to do it. Yeah. The same way as if you implement a director of football or a CEO or a board, they'll make it successful by hook. You go, I don't care how you do it. Here is your part. Here is what you've got to spend. Go about it and see fit. And if you're crap, I'll fire you and bring somebody else in.
Craig Barton said there, most good businessmen hire people to do it for them. You don't make money by working for yourself.
Not in that vast array of different businesses that you've got. You wouldn't employ this. You wouldn't have the same person running a garden centre as running a shipping company, running a pearl company, running a football club. You just wouldn't do it. Like you'd potentially employ all of these people to do it.
Yeah.
You just wouldn't do it. Like, you wouldn't do it yourself. It's physically impossible. You'd be sat on a beach with your feet up checking your bank account every 30 seconds.
Yeah, Matt said, which one is the structural engineer assessors? That's a good one. John says, fishy business. Daz says, it's a perler. He also goes on and says, what about Bent as Fuck Limited? John says, shell companies, excuse the pun. Craig's gone with, if he sold those assets, we would be saved for one window, and he'd spunk it all on Jim Olsen, Kim's son. That I suppose he's at, well, given what those numbers there, he's asset rich, cash poor. Like, he doesn't have any cash whatsoever in order to run a football club. Certainly not a championship football club anyway. When you look at those numbers there, they're not good enough.
Well, let's say the one that holds the majority of his wealth is the property one, isn't it? That's the one that holds the majority of his money in terms of like value. If you
in terms of assets,
in terms of like value from an asset perspective, let's say you sell half of that, which you could do to make Sheffield Wednesday successful. How much was it? Was it 240 million?
Can I just also add on to that as well? There are 11 directors. Chryson Chansiri, Disapol Chansiri, Busakon Chansiri, Thirapong Chansiri, and Dejpon Chansiri. And then that's in the Thai bracket. Chinese, take a deep breath on this one.
Yeah.
Mr. Lin Zhangfeng, Zhuo Yaozong, Wang Xiaogang, Wu Weilang, Wu Qi, and Chao Kin Sun. They're the full 11 directors. Yeah. So I suppose when you look at that, I think, so it says here, Thai 51, the 5 Thai directors hold 51% of that. So you could say he's got 10% of it. So he's actually got about, what is it, 245 million, 24 million, which is about 20 million pounds.
So if you convinced all of those, 11 directors to sell, and you take out 24 million quid, you could run this for a season and maybe 2 seasons you'd get out of it, and then it's got to go. Everything screams out of money and out of options. 24 million is a huge amount of money, and by God, if I came into 24 million, you would never... my new school wouldn't see me for dust. However, if it's all tied up in properties and I can't convince people to sell and I can't get somebody to buy me out for 24 million, I'm skinned.
Well, that's it.
It is what it is.
But if you've got a business that's got 245 million pounds of assets, but it turns over £63,000 or $63,000, what is it doing? What is this? You literally own a building. You own a block of, like, you own an apartment block.
Yeah,
that's effectively what that is. And you've whacked it under a business name and a company name, and you're doing nothing. You just literally sat on it, so you're not going to get anyone to buy it, are you? Really? So
no.
That's and again, obviously, all these, when you look at the document as well, you can then drill into it and see, as I just have done with this one, and see how many people are actually involved in it. It's very rare that it's just him. When you look, quite a few are. Is Tipper up? Is that his wife, or I don't know who his wife. I don't know who his wife is. But that name is listed on quite a lot, and he does that. I think he's done that on some of his Sheffield 1 to 9 companies, and he's put that, and you see a change of ownership, and it goes under his wife's name and stuff. So it certainly was interesting reading. I don't. It's not got that golden egg that they're
it's not
looking
a smoking
for, though,
gun,
has it?
no. I know, I agree with you, James. It's not a smoking gun, but it does put into...
It's interesting, though.
Yeah. It does put into stark realisation just how brassic he as an individual is. The difficulty, I suppose, and I am hesitant always to be critical of the Supporters Trust because they do such good work, it's the way in which the information gets out to people, I think, is something that needs to be looked at, because actually it's a important document for fans to know just how skint he is. But actually you do have to sit, and I mean, we have just sat on this pod and done 23 minutes on it conservatively to actually be able to unpick it and put it into a model that someone like myself can actually understand and fully digest and take in. I think when you just see it on a sheet of paper, it's really difficult to kind of... It's like everything Deshpon Chansiri. It's difficult to retain your information. It's difficult to retain your attention.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, we were kind of poking fun at it as well as we were going through it as well, and just having a bit of a laugh. It is Tipper Up. Tipper Up is his wife. Just to confirm, I think someone said I thought his wife was something like Basharat. No, it's Tipper Up Chansiri is his wife, according to the Star in 2020. So unless he's changed his wife between now and then, I do believe that is his wife. I think for me, just looking at it, like I say, it's not that the smoking gun that we all wanted. It does kind of make us think, actually, all right. When we say where does his money come from, I suppose it doesn't really answer that question, because they're not turning enough profit for us to go, oh, wait a minute, that that it is that business that he's got. And again, I can see why these. I mean, I've tried to search for a few of them on Google. We're in 2025 now. You like to think there would be websites and things like that for these businesses. The couple that I've tried, you can't find anything on whatsoever. So again, that raises question marks as to the legitimacy of these companies. Do you know what I mean? So
because that's by design, isn't it? Like, that's by design. Like, if you're looking to increase revenue, where's the first place you go? You don't do like a vocal plea and anger around shipping docs trying to get people to sign up with you. You go online. Yeah,
exactly. Unless they're living back in kind of the 1970s or something like that. If people want to read it, and if you haven't done already, I'm sure they have, because I put it in the Patreon, in the Discord and things. swfctrust.co.uk. Just click on the news section, and at the moment it is the latest article there, and you can read the full report, which is how many pages long is it? It's a good one. It is. Let me scroll right down to the bottom. 88 pages long, 89 pages long for your perusal. So lots of numbers in there, lots of barts, lots of Thai words. Yes, very confusing, but you can read it if you want. What's the next thing we're going to talk about? There's this loan on Hillsborough, which is looming. We're now 15, 16 days away from this loan that's due. For those that don't know, Deshpon Chansiri took out a loan against the stadium, I want to say 2020, I think it was. So he'd already bought the stadium at this point, and then he's taken a loan out against the stadium to the tune, it must have been around about 5 or 6 million at the time. He's then since rolled over the interest every single year for the past 5 years. That loan now stands at 7.4 million. So again, it was a 12-month loan every time. So it should have been paid back by the end of that. There should have been repayments and things, or paid the full amount by the end of those 12 months. Every time he's failed to do that, and they've allowed him to roll over the interest and then refinance that whole amount again. And they've been quite happy to do that. New Avenue Projects is they're not sure whether they're the broker or whether they're actually the lender, or both. It could be, but they're involved, and the reports are that they're going to be asking for some money. And I don't blame them as well, because up until this point, obviously things have been paid. Between the last time it got rolled over and now, wages aren't being paid. It's clearly in a mess. So I can see why they've done that. But Matt, this could be the one thing that makes him fall down. Like, this could be the one thing that takes him down, because up until, I think this is the only loan that he has that we have knowledge of. Well, it's certainly the only loan that's, because he's not taking the loan out against the club. He's obviously taking the loan out against the stadium that he owns. So this is nothing to do with Sheffield Wednesday. This is to do with him personally. But it could lose the stadium, couldn't he? Effectively, if this kind of carries on.
He can do, and I think just to add a little bit of extra spice for that, obviously I've posted it in Discord. I think I wasn't going to post it first, but obviously the minute that the public information, public information, somebody else posted, there is unconfirmed reports that lender is willing to accept an offer less than the money that is owed. Effectively, to simplify it, the lender has realised that Chansiri isn't ever going to be able to repay the 7.9 million, and he's just trying to claw back some of that money. Now, again, unconfirmed, the reported figure that is out there is just over half of what it is.
Yeah.
There is an opportunity for somebody here, but it is going to take somebody with a massive set of stones to do so. In terms of the lender, from the information that I have, and again, it's all unconfirmed, and you can take it as you find it. But again, I think it's out there, and it wasn't us who did anything in terms of like breaking a news story or anything like that. There was people who've been speaking about this for a little while. The information is that if you would like to purchase it, the lender is open and willing to sell to anybody. They would ideally like it to be Chansiri, because that's who obviously the money has been taken up against. But if you want to buy that debt, I'll happily sell it you. And then Dapon Chansiri would then owe the money to you in effect. If it was you, that was buying it, you've sold your you've sold your pearl farming business, Matt, and you've now got enough money to buy that debt. Dapon Chansiri would owe you money. Is that what you're saying? Yes, that is what I'm saying, and that also means that I can force him to repay me that money one way or another, in terms of I can put him into a very difficult position whereby he either has to let me into the football club, because the football club is the only thing left that he has any monetary value in. He either has to let me into that, he has to let me into his property portfolio and business that he has, or he finds another way of servicing that loan. And the other way of servicing that loan is to sell me a decrepit and crumbling stadium to myself. And then I'm in the door anyway, regardless. Because I can then say to him, and it's not something that I would want to do, but it's something that if I was an individual inclined like Mike Ashley, say for argument's sake, who's just done this with Coventry, oh, you owe me a lot of money to keep playing here. Which is what he's effectively done with Coventry, because he was interested in taking over Coventry, and then he realised that these owners are not for selling, they're not going to. So actually he's drove a really hard bargain, which is why Coventry have ultimately not spent mountains of money in the transfer window. Why? Because they've been more interested in securing their financial future by buying the football stadium off Mike Ashley. Again, as I say, it's going to take somebody with a huge set of stones who wants to potentially purchase the football club. But I would suggest that if you are at the table and have the money, this is a backdoor way into doing so. Is this, again, the be-all and end-all, and it means that if somebody buys that debt that they're just going to get in? No, because you could just get lumbered with the debt, because Chansiri is never going to be able to repay it. But it does mean that you effectively are buying yourself a seat at the table and potentially a seat at the front of the queue for when the inevitable happens of Chansiri has to sell or the IFR get involved, which is coming, because also in October he has a tax bill and player wages, which the last 2 years he has not paid that October tax bill on time.
Yeah, and obviously what's happened previously is not apparently not available to him. He can't just roll it over again like he has been doing. So, yeah, he's in a tricky position, and I suppose if someone does buy that debt, like you mentioned there, he has to engage with you now. Like up until this point, he could just ignore you. Yeah. Now he owes money to you. Like, all right, you've gone, like you've mentioned, gone through the back door, but he now owes money to you. And let's not forget as well, just like with your house, and if you don't pay your mortgage, this is effective what it is.
Yes,
he's got a mortgage that is, if you don't pay it, don't pay, we'll take it away. It's that one. They'll you can go down the route. I'm probably slightly different. It's like repossession, but I suppose it is really. You could force him into administration,
can't you? Yeah, you can serve an eviction notice, or the alternative is you can push for administration. Yeah.
Yeah, to then take control of the whole stadium, and then you would sell it, and then you get that money back. But I suppose what would happen is it would just, whoever it is that bought it would just then hold the whole stadium. Then, and I don't fully know how it all works. It seems very messy, but again, just shows you how people are looking at all these different avenues, at how they can get at Depon Chansiri. And again, this is something that the trust also knew as well, kind of behind the scenes. So they've been doing the digging. I just want to stress as well, the trust do a lot of work that nobody is kind of privy to as well, and stuff that they can't say and everything else, like, until obviously it then comes out. But they are working tirelessly at finding all of these little loopholes. There's some really, really clever people at the trust behind the scenes doing they're looking at different things that nobody else has really thought about. Not necessarily saying this one, just other stuff as well. This is just one example.
Well, the interesting thing was, James, and again, I don't think I'm breaking anyone's confidence in this, because obviously part of it is mine. I spoke to you, didn't I, in the last 2 weeks of August, and said I'm looking at this and seeing if there's a viable option here. I then contacted somebody who works within the trust, who does a lot of the research here, and said, look, am I on to something here? And they effectively said, yes, there is an opportunity there. It's messy, but there is an opportunity there for somebody if they have a spare 4, 5, 6, 7 million kicking about. Because obviously, bear in mind, you're dealing with Chansiri and part of this. Yes, you're dealing with the lender, but you're also dealing with part Chansiri here, because the lender has to, I would assume, as just a duty of common courtesy, inform Chansiri that they have sold that debt to so-and-so, because you now owe them money. And if that somebody is somebody who, let's take the only one registered party who have shown any interest in this, Adam Shaw and John Flanagan, he doesn't want to deal with you, and he doesn't want to sell to you. And then you can say, look, this is your last opportunity. This is what we're offering now. Doesn't matter what the offer was then. This is what we're offering now. Give us this now. Otherwise, we are going to force administration upon you. And you all know which way that's going to go.
Yeah, I just, when I look at it, the bigger picture, I just think, how the fuck have we got to this position? Like, really, do you know what I mean? Like, from a football club that we thought was just, well, I suppose we've just kind of limped across. When you look throughout,
that's it.
Ever since coming out of the Premier League, you look at the different owners, and it's just been a whole mess at the top and at the organisation and things, and we've just kind of limped over the line. We've got out of League One because of, I just think, the sheer size of the football club is just and the fan base and stuff has just allowed us to actually spend a little bit more and actually be more competitive than the others. Hence why it's only took us 2 seasons each of the 3 times that we've got down there. And then now we're in this situation where we're talking about, like, this shows for like best 11s, best loan 11, best best international 11 that we've had, or all the players that have, all that sort of stuff, quizzes, and instead we're talking about whether someone's going to buy the debt that's on the stadium to try and stick 2 fingers up at Depon Chansiri and like try and weasel the way into the football club. It shows you how we've got into this sort of mess at this moment in time.
It is, James, but I would also say that yes, I would say Dej is the person who has been left when the music has stopped. This has been coming at Sheffield Wednesday since going back to David Richards. Like, this mess has been coming since then. The minute that the club was gutted and bad money was spent on slow horses for falling out the Premier League, this has been coming. There's been 1 or 2 who've tried to right the ship. Some have been cleaner than others. Like, Lee Strafford, again, I know a lot of people hold particular opinions about Lee. I think he's very honest and open about the fact of he wanted to take the football club because he's a supporter, but just didn't have the deep enough pockets to do so.
Yeah, he just didn't have the money, did he? In order to do that. And he probably just, But he came in and he went. Like, you know what I mean? He had a brief stint. It wasn't, not for me. I'll let someone else come in and take the mantle over. And then,
again, you've then ended up with Milan Mandaric, which I think, personal opinion, I am quite gutted that glass ceiling has shattered surrounding Milan in terms of people realising he wasn't just here for the Jabanja Milan that was written across the back of the stadium and all the rest of it. He wasn't here for that. He was here to turn a profit and make a quick buck. But we have not had, again, I mentioned Bristol City in the main show, James. We have not had a Steve Lansdowne, somebody who has invested heavily in the city, invested heavily in, apart from Bristol Rovers, all of the sporting teams that exist in Bristol, and built a community and a hub for everybody to take real pride in the area, and is now looking like selling it to one of the wealthiest businessmen on the planet.
For those who don't, just on that, he owns Bristol City, he owns Bristol Bears, who are the rugby team, and he also owns the Bristol Flyers, who are the basketball team as well, just for context if people don't know.
And he is a local Bristol-based businessman who was sick and tired of seeing Bristol sport be in the absolute fucking mud. So he took them over, realised he needed to implement a plan, and did it gradually over the course of 10 to 15 years. Do you remember when we played them at the start of the championship campaign and we beat them 2-0 just after they'd come up?
Yeah.
And there was not our Michael Smith, there was Matt Smith who was playing for them, and they all came up to Hillsborough, and I think we slapped them 2-0. And I think it was the season that we got to. But they've done well year on year, and he's built a state-of-the-art couple of stands at Ashton Gate, rejuvenated the area. Bristol Bears as a rugby club are now entrenched in the southwest. They will be I would suggest, I know fuck all about rugby. The only thing that I know about it is obviously because of my father-in-law. They will be a powerhouse within that division moving forward over the coming years if the infrastructure remains surrounding it. What it effectively he has done is invested an awful lot of money, and he's going to make an awful lot of money coming back. Because
he's also got a lot of money as well. He's apparently Sunday Times Rich List had him down as being worth £1.72 billion.
Yeah, he's worth a few coin. Yeah, he's worth a few coin. But he's also honest, James. He's also honest, and that is everything that we have just rattled off. Like, your David Richards, your Dave Allens, your Milan Mandaric to a degree, your Dejpon Chansiri massively. They're not honest. They're not open. They're all fairly secretive. They all are not.
We don't even know about injuries, mate.
No. And that's yeah. I mean, we're going around the houses again here, but like, I think I look at the situation that has gone on there today, and that just proves, I think I've definitely said it myself on this pod. When I've started looking into football clubs that are available for sale, there are 12 football clubs in the Championship, 11 now minus Bristol City. There is over half the division for sale at the right price in the Championship. At the moment, you take on Sheffield Wednesday when somebody else does all the legwork for you in removing the idiot who's in charge. You don't deal with him because it's impossible to do so.
Before we finish, just want to say, John's been on fire in the comments, by the way. He says it will only take us 1 year to get out of League One straight into League Two.
Yeah, I don't disagree, mate. I don't disagree.
Oh, please don't. Please don't. Right, we're going to wrap things up there. Massive thanks, everyone, for listening. Obviously, being Patreon members. Really do appreciate it. Make sure you do join us on Tuesday for the watch along as well. It won't be going out. Before anyone asks, it won't be going out as an audio only or anything like that. Imagine that, listening back to a watch along for a match that we probably lost.
Chance.
I've done one before. There was it was the Burnley game.
4-0 loss.
Yeah, and I'm kind of thinking, how do you do it? Some people like to do the commentary and stuff, and I don't think I'm kind of there yet to do kind of alternative commentary, as much as I really hate Andy Holdsworth on the Sky Sports commentary stuff. It will just be just waffle and talking about for various other things. So do get in the comments, do help it run along. I will try and get, I think Elliot is going to be joining me at some point on Tuesday, so it'd be nice to just have a chat with him about various things as the game's going on, and yeah, hopefully we can beat the fishermen, as I called them last time, the Mariners, of course. No, thank you very much, everyone. Really do appreciate it as always. And yeah, we'll see you all next time. Join Discord. If you're not on Discord, join it because it's great fun. It's great fun over there. You find out everything first. You even find out that we're still selling signed Michael Hekwer shirts from 3 seasons ago? Is it now? Fucking ages ago. For £450. Absolute bargain. Thank you very much, everyone, and we'll see you all next time. Cheers.